What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka the Senator of Chaos and Controversy, and I was asked this question, and I already knew that this was going to be related to some insight on some fucking drama, and basically, due to the fact that I've made videos about Brandon Tatum and my position on what I thought about his rhetoric, um, people had wanted to know what my thoughts were about when the Mason Lucas gave his input on the video that Brandon Tatum made on why black people hate Brandon Tatum. And other people, other content creators that I was very unaware of that existed, decided to come out and try to, I don't know, capitalize on the drama. And I stayed quiet about it because it wasn't my place to talk about those two and the differences between them, and try to like get, how should I say, um, a ton of views. And like I tell people, like my video is about me being passionate. When my channel is about me being passionate about some of these topics that I choose to discuss, that I choose to share, some of my perspective on things and stuff like that, and it's what I'm geared towards. And for me, watching other content creators, sometimes yes, it's entertaining to watch some of the disputes or whatever, you know. And then a lot of it comes down to like sometimes it gets out of hand. Now, where I don't like when you have two people that are impressionable, or somewhat, I don't want to say popular on YouTube, and then they clash or whatever, then you start getting like these biased attitudes or people that you see that were once subscribers, but now all of a sudden because you said something about the other person or this person and stuff, now they're like, oh well, now you're this, and now they want to cast judgment on you and stuff like that, and say, and I say, you know what? I said I'm subscribed to Brandon Tatum. I'm subscribed to fucking Amazing Lucas. I don't like much of what fucking Brandon Tatum says, but like I stated before, he has some valid points on what he says. But um and I don't know him personally as a person. I don't know him personally. The only thing I'm aware of that leaves a distaste in my mouth is the rhetoric and his one-sided point of views on things. You know, due to the fact that yeah, he was once a cop. You know what I'm saying? And I've used the example like this. Okay, just because you're a cop, you don't always have to be pro police and stuff like that. You are allowed to disagree with some of the behaviors of policing. Okay? Um, but that doesn't mean that stop supporting them. Okay? When it comes to the anti-black rhetoric, where you hold white people up on a pedestal and then you shit on the black community. You come from that element. And just because you've matured doesn't mean that, okay, I'm going to sit there and criticize. No, criticizing doesn't help anything out. It doesn't solve anything. It's easy to sit there, point the finger, and criticize, but what are you offering for solutions to help correct the problem? Because bashing isn't a solution. Or making one group look like they are what they are in the eyes of people who you pander to, and that's what the Amazing Lucas was trying to point out. Now, either people are that fucking stupid, or they understood where Lucas was coming from, but just don't care. And that's what I took away from when he was addressing the video, and like he said, they both were on the same page. They both, but then again, Lucas was like seeing like, okay, damn, hold on, wait a minute. I'm starting to take notice of if you only say this and you only riding along that one narrative train, oh, you're gonna get all these people that agree with you because they share that same mindset. But if you notice that, hold on, there's a certain disparity in some of the things that are being put out there. Hold up, wait a minute, I gotta challenge this because this shit ain't adding up. Okay, I was supporting this narrative, but wait a minute, over here, it's kind of contradicting what I used to believe. I used to only believe one thing, and here's the thing. Here's the thing that people didn't pick up on when it came to Brandon Tatum. What if, what if, just say playing the devil's advocate? You remember how he shared what he shared about how he was growing up, whatever, and he was saying, oh, he thought that white people were the devil and this and that. He was taught the pro-blackness or whatever until he broke out of his shell and got out of certain demographics and got to see shit beyond his particular social construct. Well, that's how it is when it comes to certain topics of discussion. If you were only taught or conditioned to believe one thing, like for example, oh, cops can do no wrong. All cops just deal with criminals. Blacks are only criminals. But then you come to find out that, oh, wait a minute, there are cops that are affiliated with gangs. Wait a minute, there are cops that take fucking a contraband and stuff like that. There's cops that have domestic issues in their own home. Wait a minute, there's cops that fucking actually violate people's rights and stuff like that. Oh, wait a minute. Not every black person is gang affiliated. Wait a minute. You got entrepreneurs. Oh, you got people that are actually in the workforce. Oh, you actually have people who don't agree with the black on black crime. Hey, you got parents that have lost kids due to gang violence and stuff. And they form little, grassroots organizations to help stop the violence and stuff. But none of that gets talked about. Because you only got what Brandon Tatum tells you. And then when Lucas tries to say, hey, that's not necessarily true, look. And then someone said, hey, I noticed this. Brandon Tatum could talk reckless about black people and say this and that. But when he says or goes to say something about white people, he's very particular in how he addresses it and very careful when he goes to say something. And I tell people all the time, look, I'm made up of best of the both worlds. I'm half black, half white. I could sit there and talk about ignorant motherfuckers all day. As a matter of fact, I wanted to do a video with Ice Cube in the song Us. And he talks about the bullshit in the black community under his Death Certificate album. He said, could you tell me who released our Animal Instinct? And the white man sitting there tickle pink, laughing at us on the avenue, busting cats at each other after having brew. We can't enjoy ourselves. We're too busy jealous at each other's wealth, but coming up's just in me. But the black community is full of envy. Too much backstabbing. When I look out the window, I see all the Japs grabbing every vacant lot in the neighborhood. Build a store and sell the goods to the counter us sips. Us po niggas, nappy hair and big lips. With 4 or 5 babies on your crotch, you expect Uncle Santa to help us out? Shit, we ain't nothing but porch monkeys to the average bigot, redneck honky. But you'll sit and scream and cuss, but there's no one to blame but us. And then he goes on to the second verse to say, and all y'all dope dealers, you was bad as the police, cause you killers. You got rich when you started swinging dope, but you ain't built us a supermarket so we can spend our money with the blacks. Too busy buying golden Cadillacs. That's what you're doing with the money that you're raising, exploiting us like the Caucasians did. For 400 years, I got 400 tears for 400 peers. Died last year from gang-related crime. That's why I got gang-related rhymes. But when I do a show, done kick some facts. Us blacks don't know how to act. Sometimes I believe the hype man for messing up ourselves and blame the white man. But don't point the finger at you, jigaboo. Take a look at yourself, you dumb nigga, you. Pretty soon hip-hop won't be so nice. No Ice Cube, just vanilla ice. But you'll sit and scream and cuss, but there's no one to blame but us. Now, Ice Cube is somewhat pro-black. But it takes a mindset, a sense of maturity to address things in the way. And he wasn't putting down the black community. He was just saying, hey, Don't sit there and start pointing fingers at other people, when you yourself is at fault. You know, and he was smart enough to make that observation, basically to say, look at the man in the mirror. And that's what I've always been the type to preach, balancing the scales. Yeah, I can sit here all day and talk about my opinions about where the faults lie in the black community. But if I have no solutions to correct the wrongs, then really I have no business sitting there criticizing a community when I am not doing my part to help better the community that I'm looking down upon. You know, and it's kind of like saying, like, okay, so, you know, I don't know. It's like when you steer away from, okay, now I'm not focused on the black people. Let's talk about the Mexicans and the Mexican cartels. How many families have died due to the drug situation in Mexico? About how many people are trying to flee the dangers, the threats that fall upon those in Mexico, where they need to seek refuge to get away from the violence so that their family can have a fighting chance to survive, to get away. But here's the thing with the opioids. You got what? In Japan or China, that heroin comes from there. And we all know, if you ever seen that movie, American Gangster, with what is it, George Lucas? I forgot the dude's name, but Denzel portrayed his character. It showed how the heroin got into the United States. Okay, um, when you watch a documentary on White Boy Rick, okay, a young kid, who was it? What was it? The CIA or the FBI had him selling drugs. He was a drug dealer. But then he figured, okay, I'm gonna turn around and make money on my own. He's for a non-violent offense. He spent all those years in jail. But who was the one who introduced him to selling drugs? This is where I talk about accountability and the hypocrisy and the bullshit. It's easy to look at the scapegoats and say that they're the problem, but you don't look at the major players and address them. And when you start waking up, when you start actually diving in and pulling up some of the details that are very, like, eye-opening, and like I said, when you start researching shit on your own, and like I said, don't take what I say at face value. I just point you in the direction. From there, you can choose to stay where you are or move fucking forward. But I didn't want to get into the whole conflict between fucking Brandon Tatum and Amazing Lucas. Yeah, do I favor the Amazing Lucas more so than I do Brandon Tatum? Yes, I do. Why? Because I feel he brings a sense of balance. Like he says, you know what? You can't tell me that there's only ignorant motherfuckers over here. There's ignorant motherfuckers over there as well, and over there, and over there, and over there, and over there. Ain't just one group that's ignorant. You got a bunch of ignorant motherfuckers. So you just want me to just stay focused on one group of people? Is that what you're telling me? Huh? You know how Lucas is. Okay. All right. Miss me with that nonsense. You got shirts about it. I I I like the one that he should. I'm not. I'm. I'm not. I'm making. I'm not making a ratio. I'm making an observation. That should be his next T-shirt. You know. But no, I didn't care to dive into that whole conflict. Whatever. They both said their piece about it and stuff, and Brandon Tatum kind of like went back and only highlighted what made his narrative seem justified. But the Amazing Lucas went through the whole video, which he said he wasn't going to do, but he did it anyway. Uh, but it goes to show, and like I said, when I called in, when he was talking about what my thoughts were on, interracial marriage or relationships and stuff, I said I've been in relationships. My kids are biracial. I'm biracial. And I told him I had a similar background when growing up out of Hartford, Connecticut. It was just like gang violence with the 20 Love, the Los Alitos, the Latin Kings, and the other chapters and stuff. And then I moved out of that element to Colchester, which is a predominant white secluded area in fucking Connecticut. And I made a joke. You can go back and look at the call on one of Lucas's live. I was the one who came after the retarded motherfucker who claimed to have been mixed, but that boy was white. He was all the way white. And I said, yeah, I had a Brandon Tatum moment. My mind was blown, and me and Lucas laughed about it, and it was a good conversation. I wish he clipped it, because I would have been able to say, hey, that was me right there. I was the caller for that. But anyway, until next time, until next video, please like, share, and subscribe. Peace.